So I've always fingertipped my mouse pretty much 24/7, and I've never used an Ergo mice for an extended period of time because my grip doesn't feel great. But ever since half a year ago, I switched to claw whenever my hand felt jittery, and this was when I've started to take interest in Ergo mice a little bit more. Trying out the EC2 wireless, Death Adder V3 Pro, and also the Lamsu Thorn that my mate had gotten. Up until that point, the only Ergos that I've had were the Glorious Model D and the Death Adder V2, and none of them had seen more than a week of use regularly. Because I've started using claw grip, I've decided to exclusively use Ergo mice for the past week, just to give it a fair shot and decide whether Ergo was actually better for me than an Ambi mice. I'm gonna go through some points that I've noticed about the switchover and what I think are the strengths and the biggest weakness of an Ergo. I chose the Death Adder V3 for this because it feels more comfortable for me. Right off the bat, because the mouse is asymmetrical, I've had to modify my grip a little from the way I used to claw grip. My standard claw is a pincer claw, making full contact with only a part of the base of my palm and knuckles, and my hand is fully pronated. This was an issue when I switched to the Ergo because of the shape as it slopes down on the side here. With the pronated grip, my knuckles would not make contact at all. After tilting my grip and actually making full contact, the hump does feel natural to my hand, and it's understandable why many people would choose Ergo mice. I also changed from curling my fingers to a relaxed grip, leaning into the notion of extreme comfort. So how does it compare to an Ambi mice? Well, I would say that the Ergo has two pros. One is the aforementioned comfort. With Ergos, gripping the mouse for me was very stable, and that translated to smoother aim. With an Ambi mice, the same grip just doesn't achieve the same level of comfort. Honestly, it feels like a pillow for the hand, and gripping it throughout the week felt really nice. The second thing is of course the added stability that comes from using a grip that provides more contact with the mouse itself. I felt like I had to do less to stabilize my crosshair before shooting, and that is something that you have to be conscious about when fixing shaky aim, as that will lead to shots that look like you're on target but miss because of the shakiness. Now, because it helps you spend less time and effort to stabilize, it also leads to a shorter time to kill because you're able to identify where your crosshair is and adjust earlier. That does matter a lot in TAC FPS where shaving off time can make a difference, but also in games like Apex where the extra shakiness that you would have from an Ambi might make reading the target's movement more difficult. Of course, you can train to reduce shaky aim, but it's still a muscle in the end. The moment you spend a prolonged period time of use, you will eventually feel fatigue and notice a little bit of shaking to your aim. Does that mean that it's better to switch to an Ergo regardless because it inherently makes you more stable and you can play for longer? Not quite. A controlled mousepad inherently gives you more control, as the name suggests, giving you more stopping power to each swipe of the mouse. This does come at the cost of speed, as more stopping power means that it will inevitably have slower glide. A faster pad will have less friction, making the starting movement of the mouse require less force and the material tug less on your arm when gliding. Now, in the same way that the Ergo provides stability and comfort, maneuverability takes a hit. The two strong points that are made for this mouse goes out the window when you start incorporating finger motion, as it changes the placement of the hump. This becomes more evident when vertical aim is required, where moving the mouse feels a lot bulkier compared to if you were using an Ambi. So who should be using an Ergo? Personally, I think that if you rely on your wrist and arm to aim and use little to no finger movement, then an Ergo would work. Otherwise, go for an Ambi. Of course, the mouse and your mouse grip obviously will not magically make you insanely better. Using the right mouse, however, can make you spend less time thinking about external things and focus on improvement.